The cool thing is like the shape of these snowflakes. When we were live, we were talking with Riley earlier. Some of it's in my hair, but I want to see if we can show you the shape of some of these snowflakes. Let's see if we can find a good one. They're all sort of coming down in this really beautiful, like true snowflake shape. And I think that's so interesting with the way that it's coming down. It's just overall so pretty. Another interesting thing is there was like nowhere to park when we first got downtown. We had to drive around for like 5 minutes or so, turn a corner to find parking because people are out. You can see all these cars parked down here. Down there, you can see another family walking behind me. And downtown seems to be, the snow doesn't seem to be stopping anybody. The businesses are open. I've talked to some people. They say that they're monitoring the conditions, that they plan to be open. But if things get worse, then they'll send their workers home. But right now, we have somebody entering the building right now. So yeah, I mean, it's great downtown.
Yeah, we don't advise driving out in the snow right now. I know we've been kind of telling people all week to not go out, but crews have been brining the interstates and the major roadways too. So if you do have to go out, just know the roads have been mostly treated, mostly the right lanes and the on and off ramps on I-20 and Bobby Jones Expressway. But yeah.
Yeah. So Kayla, how is the conditions? Like, how is it pretty cold outside? How's it feeling out there?
Yeah, it's really cold. I mean, it definitely feels like the temperatures that we're telling people. But I feel like as somebody, living in the South, we don't get snow that often. I feel like we hate the cold when it doesn't come with the snow. When you get the pretty snow like this, and I feel like it makes the cold a bit more bearable, a bit more enjoyable, but it's definitely cold. I could have probably used a scarf. I recommend getting a scarf and really dressing up to the nines with all the warm clothes you have, an underlayer, a sweater, a top layer, because it is really cold. I've got my gloves on, my beanie on, but it's a different kind of cold. I mean, it is snowing, so it's got to be at least 32 degrees or lower than that. So it's pretty cold, but I've seen people bundled up. People seem to be taking it very seriously. And I know I said a lot of people are out, and the cars downtown might be the business owners, but a lot of people walking, a lot of people on their bikes. And like I said, a lot of people walking their dogs that might live really close by. We were close enough to kind of just walk around. So definitely want to advise people to be safe, not just because of how cold it is, but the road conditions as well.
Yeah, I will say when I was out there earlier without my jacket on, I mean, it was cold, but I didn't feel as cold as as it felt outside, I guess because I was just so excited about the snow. So, yeah, I will attest to that.
That adrenaline gets pumping a little bit.
Right,
you get all excited and the snow's falling out there. But speaking of cold, we're talking about some very cold temperatures going into tomorrow. And now I'm not talking about like, I'm from the north. It doesn't get cold. No, this is cold. We're talking wind chills like single digits. Let's send things back over to Riley and Emily here as we talk about, guys, tomorrow morning, going to be ice cold.
It is. And I mean, even this evening, Nick, I think we could feel like temperatures between 10 and 15 by around 7, 8 o'clock later tonight. And then we'll drop down into the single digits as we get closer to midnight. But it's going to be a good 8 to 10 hour time stretch to where our temperatures feel below 10. If we could take this, there we go, or take a camera.
I mean, that's pretty.
Yeah, so pretty heavy snow out there. And once again, feel like temperatures anywhere from 0 to 5 out there early tomorrow morning. But most of the overnight, we will feel at least below 10. So single-digit wind chills lasting for 8 to 10 hours across the area. So that's why we also have our extreme cold warning out there in effect alongside with our winter storm warning. So we only see the extreme cold warning when we're expecting temperatures to get below 15 for a significant amount of time. So that is looking likely tonight.
I don't think that I've ever seen an extreme cold warning. I guess that I can remember. I'm sure I'm from Birmingham, so we're pretty much same on the equator line, so we kind of get the same weather, I would say, but
latitude,
there we go, not the equator. It's same thing kind of. But yeah, we get the same temperatures roughly, and I can't remember a time that we've had a cold weather warning, so it's going to be brutally cold overnight tonight.
Definitely so.
I know you need hat, gloves, scarves. If you don't have gloves, this is just a hack from my childhood. We always use socks. If you're going to play out in the snow, you need to cover your hands. Yeah. So anything to help cover you up and stay warm, that's going to be crucial, especially as we get later on in the evening.
Definitely so. Cover the extremities, especially thinking about the young kids out there, because obviously they don't have the ability to regulate their body temperature like us adults do. So a lot of kids are going to want to go play out in the snow, but it is going to be very cold. So make sure you're just kind of taking them inside periodically. Make sure they warm up the toes, warm up the fingers. Hopefully you got a good fire going inside to help keep y'all in your home warm. But here's looking kind of the planner over the next several hours heading into this evening. Temperatures will be feeling like below 20 after around 3 p.m. So within the next couple of hours, and then just going to continue to fall as we head into tonight and early tomorrow. Snow chances looking pretty good, at least through around the 8 p.m. time frame. Once we get later past that, snow likely will start to taper off as we get closer to midnight, but this isn't going anywhere anytime soon. We'll kind of go back to our radar view here and show you what's in store for us for the rest of the afternoon. So these snow bands are just going to continue rotating in. That upper level low has now showed up, and you can see snow still all the way into the upstate in North Carolina. So that still has to rotate down towards us before this eventually starts to push off towards the east. So we got a pretty good setup to see more snow over the rest of today.
Yeah, I'm really curious. Me personally, we're seeing a little bit of those darker colors there. I don't know if I'd necessarily call it a band. It might be forming that over where Malik is. So I'm very curious to see once he starts getting some of that heavier snowfall. We know he's going to have a great time out there. But right now, just looking at the radar, it looks like anywhere from Edgefield, even down to Augusta, you're seeing a little bit of that heavier snowfall right now. And it should start accumulating because, again, we've had wet surfaces pretty much throughout the day now. And so once this is really starting to pick up, it's going to be able to stick a lot easier. I know we've seen stuff on top of cars, grassy areas, things like that. But I think roadways are definitely next.
100%. And yeah, I think we got some pretty good snow up and down Highway 25 from Aiken County into Edgefield County. So peach country, we were talking about that earlier, how our peach trees love these chilling hours that they do need during the wintertime. So hopefully this makes for a little bit sweeter and better crop as we get towards some warmer months, which I'm sure a lot of us are looking forward to. I want to enjoy the snow, but I'm kind of ready for it to be about 70 degrees again. It has been a very cold stretch of days so far this month. But just kind of the wide look, what I want to do, I actually want to kind of layer in our 700 millibar winds to kind of get some better storm motion for this. So looking at, this is showing what our upper level winds are. You can go about 4,000 feet above the surface. Usually use these winds to kind of guide you where you're expecting your storms, rain, things like that to be traveling. And for some reason, it is not wanting to populate there. All right, there we go. So there's that upper level low. So this is what's continuing to swing through the area. And this is what's going to continue just kind of funneling down through the region as it does eventually push off towards the south and east. So good setup. Definitely took a little while for this snow to arrive. I know a lot of people were kind of frustrated on that. But one thing we were mentioning, Emily, is that it's still pretty impressive that about a week ago we were letting people know this was going to happen. I think people get lost in the details of the forecast and they don't really appreciate that. It's pretty incredible that a week out we were able to say, hey, we're looking like we could see a really rare snow event on Saturday. But people kind of get lost, and it's a little bit later than expected, and they get frustrated. But pretty incredible feat of modern science and technology to be able to kind of map out our atmosphere and use mathematics, physics, thermodynamics, chemistry to kind of put it all together, and those weather models being able to predict this type stuff so far in advance. So pretty incredible stuff. Yeah,
I definitely agree there. I want to take a look, though. I've heard that we have some viewer images or videos out in the community. There's one from Harlem, so seeing what they're dealing with there. Beautiful. I think this one might be from North Augusta, but beautiful snowfall there. Oh, they're having a great time. The trampoline is in North Augusta, but that's a great idea. I say that, you're probably going to fall, but it looks like a fun idea.
Definitely so. And make sure it's a good, sturdy, relatively newer trampoline. I'm not sure if the older ones will hold up with ice and you bouncing on it, but always a good time. And that's the stuff we love to see with these events. Kids out there, some of them seeing their first snow in their entire life, at least a decent one. So always cool stuff. I hope my little girl back at home is getting to play in the snow a little bit. And we are looking at just more viewer photos and pictures showers coming in across the area. This was sent in a little bit earlier today, and better video right there. I believe this one actually came from Greensboro, Georgia, so just outside of the CSRA. But many spots are now starting to look like that across the region as snow has kind of continued here over the last several hours and started to get some better rates of snow as well.
But scan that QR code that's at the bottom of your screen there and send us your pictures. We would love to see where you are. We have crews all over the CSRA, but if you want to see your, sorry, they're talking to me in my ear, but if you want to see your picture, make sure that you send it to us and we're going to show it because that's what we are really wanting to do. But I heard that we have Nick Proto outside. Mm-hmm. Let's see what you got to say.
Maybe
not.
Well, in the meantime, you can see behind us our Thurman Dam cam.
Yeah, got a little bit.
There we go.
They didn't. That's such a good bar too. Oh, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Gotcha.
All right, I don't know if you heard, I had a funny joke, so I'm going to repeat it now. I said it looked like the before photo in a Head & Shoulders shampoo ad because I had some snow on my hair. It looked like dandruff. It's not as funny anymore. But what we've got right now is a lot of snow piling up, and this is like a great snowfall. This is something we used to see back home in Jersey where you just get this constant snow coming down all day, really starting to pile up on our putting green here and on these little shrubs and the mulch that we've got right outside the station. On these tables and chairs, too. This is the first spots that it started to pile up. So I guess this was nice and cold, and that wood made a good material for that snow to accumulate on. So we're starting to get a little bit here, not too much, but enough to, you know, make a snow pancake. Not enough to make a snowball just out here quite yet, but it is cold, it is snowing, and it's been coming down pretty consistently. I know it's a little bit later than we maybe expected it to come down, but now that it's here, this is beautiful. I mean, this is really, really cool. People are out there on the roads, probably not super advised, but if you do have to get out today, just, you know, drive slow, keep some distance between you and the car in front of you, and just be out there and enjoy it. I've been in the South now like 11 years, and this is probably the biggest snowfall we've seen since I've been down here. So it is cool to get a little bit of taste of something we don't normally get down here in Georgia and South Carolina. Nice good snowfall.
Well, Nick, I would have to say you sound like a Southerner right now. You are enjoying this snowfall like you don't see it like us. I mean, we rarely see a good snowfall, but it looks beautiful out there. I'm very curious to see how much it's starting to accumulate, like he was showing on the chairs there. It's starting to pick up.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing is, our forecast leading up to this event we're talking about here around Augusta, maybe we get around 2 to 4 inches. Mm-hmm. And I still think we're going to fall within that range. I know the snow did start a little bit later than people anticipated, but that doesn't mean we're necessarily changing the impacts we're expecting from this system. So I still think we got a good chance of at least 2 inches. Maybe we don't quite get up to 4 here in Augusta, but I think it's still a good chance we see some of these totals materialize that were forecast for this event. But I think we're going to take a quick break and be right back in just a little bit.
Yeah, mic check one.
Hello, I do.
Mic check, I5. Mic check, mic check, mic check.
All right, good afternoon. Welcome to our special snow coverage on WRDW Plus. I'm Will Rio.
And I'm Zaina Halliburton. It's nice to have you with us. I'm sure a lot of people now are snuggled up inside just watching the snow fall from their windows, or maybe for those snow lovers, you're already just out trying to play in it.
Looking at Facebook comments, I'm going to assume that most of our viewership is probably outside enjoying this or was outside at some point. It's really coming down at this point. I came in at about 1 o'clock and the roads weren't that bad, but now looking outside at around 2:30 at this point, it's starting to pack on the ground here.
It is, and especially just right outside of our station on our putting green. It's not green, it's a white putting green now, so it's really neat just to see how fast it's coming down. I drove from I-20 from where I live. I have to say the interstate was pretty clear, no problems. And there's still a decent amount of people on the roads right now, so it looks like people are treating this just like any other Saturday.
Yeah, but if you do go out, you might want to take it a little bit slower when you're out there too, because the roads can get slick. I know we had Nick Proto outside our station not too long ago who said that this is one of the biggest snow events that he's seen since being in the South. I remember when I was in college, I like to say a few years ago at this point, but a while back, and we saw a good amount of snow in Charleston, and this is what it's reminding me of at that point. We had a good snowfall here, and you were able to pack it. It was a few inches, so it's very similar to that. It's cool to see. We don't get this down here that often at all.
I know, and it's crazy when some of us do, right? Nick was just mentioning he's from Jersey. He's used to now. That's north. I'm from Oklahoma, and that last system that came through kept kids out of school until Friday. They just went back Friday.
Yeah, and I'm from Ohio, so we're all used to dealing with the snow, driving in it, but quite different down here. We don't have the same salt trucks that we do up there. People not used to driving in it. So again, if you're headed out, the roads aren't too bad, but they're going to start getting slick as more of the snow starts to fall. But I know we want to get some updates on what exactly we're seeing on the radar and where we are with this winter weather. I think we could toss this over to our First Alert weather team who's been tracking this all week now, guys.
Yeah, guys, and it does look like snow's falling across a good portion of the CSRA right now, just going straight to our radar network. You can see some spots kind of on the lighter side of snow. I just got a brief glimpse outside of our studios, and I mean, we're looking at pretty good snow right now here across the state line, and you can see that reflected here on our radar network. So if we can take this full screen so people can see that a little bit better, you can see the darker blues here on the radar network, kind of highlighting places like North Augusta, Belvedere, Augusta, all the way up into Edgefield County. Looks like y'all are taking max 1. If you could take max 3, that would be great. But you could also see some pretty windy conditions out there. But here we go. Looking at looking at the radar network, we got some pretty decent snow passing through the Augusta Metro, heading towards downtown Aiken next. So riding down the Jefferson Davis Highway, Augusta Aiken Highway, whatever you want to call it, we are looking at some pretty decent snow now starting to work its way towards Aiken. Once again, Edgefield has been seeing some pretty decent snow here over the last hour or so, and this is most likely just going to continue kind of pushing south and east across the area, and not really expecting the snow to come to an end until we get to later tonight. Most likely by around midnight, most of the snow is wrapping up across the region. But one thing we were talking about, Emily, is that these are some really pretty snowflakes out there. We've been getting some really cool pictures, and these are dendrites, so it gives us kind of those cool geometric patterns. So if you're out there, try to get a quick picture of that. They are pretty, really pretty out there.
Yeah, I tried to catch a few, but I felt like by the time I got my camera to focus, they melted on my hand.
That's the hard part, is kind of to get it, at least the iPhone I was trying to use too, to try and get a focus on something that tiny. But if you can kind of get a picture of them on an elevated surface, like on top of your grill or maybe some outdoor furniture, things like that, that's kind of the best way to get some of those pictures. But pretty good setup.
I have something to say probably to our producers back there. I know Ethan was in Aiken just a little while ago. I don't know if he's still there, but if he's not, no, that's fine. I wanted to make sure that Ethan stays in Aiken because it looks like a heavier band's about to approach the city of Aiken. So I would love to see what that looks like when it comes down, probably 5-10 minutes.
We actually do have, here, we'll go to one of our SCDOT cameras on the 511 map. I'm not sure if it'll line up exactly to where that heavy band is, but we'll check it out. We got this one that is right near the state line. So that's right crossing over the Savannah River just before exit 1 getting into Carolina. And then as we look a little bit further up I-20, here's a little bit closer look to exit 5.
That looks different.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I think you drive 10, 15 minutes either direction, you can see drastically different conditions out there. So this is between exit 1 and 5. That's your I-20 eastbound lane heading towards Columbia, and you can already see most of that grass starting to get covered up there off the interstate. So pretty impressive look. That's kind of where that heavier band is starting to set up shop there between Edgefield and Aiken County. But all across the area, we're looking at pretty decent snow. This is at our Thurman Dam Cam looking at Below Dam Park. This is a look at SRP Park, and there you go. Most of the outfield is now starting to be covered in that snow. So it was just kind of that brownish green, and now it's pretty much all white there. So pretty good stuff. But I think we got our meteorologist Malik Bryant live in downtown Washington up in Wilkes County. How's it looking up there, Malik? It looks like a decent band is trying to make its way towards you.
I think so. I think the band might be about to arrive here in Washington downtown right now. This is probably the heaviest snow we've had so far since we've been here. And if you take a look at the snow angel I made probably 15 minutes ago, it's almost gone. The snow angel's almost been filled back in. So I guess Mother Nature said it wasn't good enough, and I'm going to have to make another one in order to improve upon that because it's already erasing the one that I had out there. So we'll see. I guess it was good, but, I guess I'll have to make another one now. But this is the heaviest snow we've seen. Roads still looking okay for now. They are wet, so they've been pre-treated with brine, so we want you to just stay careful. If you don't have to travel, don't do it, especially now as we have one of these heavier bands come through. The clouds have gotten darker as well as we've seen this heavier snow band try and move through Washington. So if you're out on the roads, visibilities are going to fall. So if you are traveling, you're going to want to slow down and just create a bigger distance between you and the car in front of you as the visibilities do go down out there on the roadways. But if you're just hanging out in your front yard, loving on the snow, this is absolutely the best time to do it. Sit on the porch, drink yourself a hot chocolate, a coffee, or whatever hot beverage you like to drink. Maybe a nice bowl of chili will also do. And then just watch the kids play in it because this is exciting. This is what it's all about. It's been snowing here since about 9:40-ish, 9:35-ish. And it's just been continuing. I mean, the winds keeps changing directions on me here, but yeah, it's just been continuing. And every time we get a good little band like this, it's just like, okay, how much is our snow going to increase now? And so it's like, how high can we go? But did want to mention that this grass that I am on, it is pretty high. It is high. So the reason you can see a bunch of this grass out here is because it is high. It's not thoroughly cut. It's good looking grass. I won't, trash in the city of Washington. It's good looking grass, but it's not low grass. Not that that's, a preferred or anything. Okay. It's great looking grass, but it's not low. All right. So the snow on top of this had to, build itself up on top of that already high grass. You go around the corner to some of these, some of these people's homes, and the grass is completely covered. It's all completely white. But this is an amazing scene out here in historic downtown Washington. It's just really something you're going to have to want to see with your own eyes. I'll try and post as many pictures and videos as I can through this as we get this heaviest snow band moving through. And, if you ever get a little bit thirsty, I was told that you can just grab yourself a couple snowflakes. There you go. Nice and great. Tastes like winter.
All right, Malik, are you hydrated out there? Do you feel hydrated now with that?
Oh yeah, double hydrated out there. Gonna need all the hydration we can get. Maybe some other means of hydration if we go over here to Owls. But
slow down there.
Will suffice.
All right, Malik, I have to ask you, you're from Georgia originally, and that was one of the best snow angels I think I have ever seen. It is perfect.
Well, when you have to do a bunch of jumping jacks all the time, when you stay active and stuff, I know when you get up to your old age, Will, that it's hard to stay active all the time. But when you're still young, you remember all the jumping jacks we were doing in elementary school.
All right. Yeah,
Man,
well, I don't
good
really have a
jokes.
response to that. He's calling me Unk on TV here, so I guess I'll just
Well, that's an insult to me
I'll just
too.
take that. Yeah, you're older than I am, so here you go.
Oh, Malik, no.
We can have Riley over there who's older than all of us, so there we
Oh,
go.
Riley said, keep him out of this conversation. No, it looks like you're really having a good time. And since you're downtown, have you been seeing a lot of people out and about, or not so much? Is anyone out there making snow angels?
There were a lot of people out here earlier, especially as the snow first started and before it started. So between the hours of 7, 8, and even into 9, we were seeing a lot of people pass by. They were coming to talk to us. Somebody even brought us some hot chocolate. Big shout out to them. And they were going in and out of Ace Hardware, just kind of doing the normal Saturday morning things, kind of just maybe looking for something to use as a sled for later today. And then in the past 2-3 hours or so, it's kind of gone quiet. We haven't seen as much traffic. We've seen the occasional couple of cars going up and down the main street here in Washington, but definitely not as many people as we did see earlier that were out and about. And this morning, we saw like the Wilkes County sheriffs in their trucks going up and down the roads, looking around, making sure the roads were all still safe. I haven't seen them recently, but I think they thought that I was crazy for being out here super early in the cold, and they're just making sure I was, a safe human being or something like that. But they were doing their jobs, making sure the road was safe, and making sure they were keeping everyone here in the city of Washington and in Wilkes County safe as well.
And those are some fat snowflakes coming down out there. I mean, it is really coming down in Wilkes County there.
All directions too.
Let me catch one for you. Hold on.
He's going to catch one for us.
I'm trying to catch one for you, but they keep crumbling every time I catch it. They're just falling apart as soon as they hit my hand.
Okay, well, when we come back to you, I do want to see you make another snow angel, because I will say, Will and I just got here not too long ago. We missed the first snow angel. You showed us a little bit of it, but it's almost gone. So we'll give you time to prepare.
Wow, look at that. I mean, the wind's just whipping out there, too. It's incredible. I mean, it's going in all different directions. It's really coming down. Malik, we appreciate you out there, and we want you to do as many snow angels as you can possibly do. He's having a blast.
I know. I love it. But so many people are. The kids, right?
That is awesome. I love that. So, again, we want to make sure that everyone's having fun, and we want to be able to show that too. So if you scan the flow code that's at the bottom left of your screen there, you can submit all your images, pictures, photos, videos, whatever you have. Send it to us so we can show it on air, show all the good time that people are having out there.
Absolutely, and I'm sure a lot of the pets are having fun too. So we want to see those photos and videos, or maybe they're not and they're walking funny. I want to see it too. I know my dog used to do that too.
The dogs or the pets that see the snow for the very first time have no idea what's going on. That's the best.
Especially if you're living here in the South, right?
Absolutely.
But please scan that code and send us your photos, and you may just see it pop up on air. But we'll be back after a few minutes, and we'll check in with some of our other reporters that are in different areas here in the CSRA.
All right, welcome back. We're going to continue our special snow coverage here on WRDW+. We just talked to a First Alert weather team. We talked to your First Alert meteorologist, Malik Bryant, who's out in Wilkes County, having an absolute blast out there. Again, it is really coming down. I'm sure most of you have been outside enjoying it, have looked out your windows and seen just how much snow is coming down. The grass is basically covered in a lot of areas, too.
I know, it really looks like a winter wonderland, so make sure you're taking your photos because there's no telling when we'll see something like this again, right? Living here.
I haven't seen something like this since I was in college and we were in Charleston and saw a couple inches of snow that just covered everything. We got some ice too, so this is very reminiscent of that. It's really cool to see. We know so many people have never experienced something like this as well. I know we got snow a year ago, but still, in the South, this is something that doesn't happen too often. But here at the station, our putting green outside, the grass is completely covered. I know we have your Gunter Schroeder, who is out in Augusta somewhere, and he got us some video. What are you seeing, Gunter?
We're here on Alexander Drive in between Riverwatch Parkway and Washington Road, and we're starting to see the first signs of snow sticking to the ground. As we were told this week by the Georgia Department of Transportation, these are going to be thick flakes that are falling on the ground, and that's what's contributing to a lot of the roadway danger that GDOT has been warning drivers about throughout this week. But as you're seeing, we're still seeing some cars throughout this afternoon still traveling around Augusta. We expect that number to most likely go down in the afternoon as this snow begins to accumulate. We're expecting anywhere between 3 to 6 inches anywhere in the CSRA, but we'll keep you updated just around 2 o'clock here in Augusta, but we expect more snowfall to fall throughout the evening hours as we get closer to Sunday. In Augusta, Gunter Schroeder on your side.
So that was from a little bit earlier today, and you can just tell the difference from when he shot that to now. It is so much different outside.
Within the last few minutes, I mean, the snow really started coming down. So from when Gunter shot that to now, it just goes to show, I mean, this system, it's coming. The snow is falling.
Yeah, you guys said that out in Aiken, I know downtown Aiken, we were expected to get a heavier band too. I know out in Wilkes County, we saw Malik out there really seeing the heavy snowfall, the fat flakes, if you will.
Definitely so. And I mean, we got a pretty decent band dropping north to south across the region. So stretching basically from around downtown Washington all the way through kind of the Lincoln and Columbia County border through getting close to us here around downtown Augusta and all the way into Aiken County. But I've been really looking at our lake camera. I think that really tells the story on kind of the pace of the snow that is showing up inside this heavier snow band right now. So take a look at this. This is current conditions right now from our lake cam. It's taken a couple seconds. It freezes every so often, but you can already see pretty much covering up those surfaces there at Below Dam Park and just a pretty good snow rate out there. And the thing is, we just got word from Malik up there in Washington and Wilkes County that snow is now starting to accumulate on roadways. So remember, Wilkes County was one of those spots that saw the snow first, and we saw it kind of next here around I-20, and then our southern counties have seen it last. So those kind of conditions are what's expected to continue building south as this snow does continue across the area. So a heads up, I know roads have been pretty much okay across a lot of the areas so far, but now that we're starting to see better snow, temperatures are getting colder, it's going to be more conducive to see pretty hazardous road conditions out there. So that's the biggest thing with this event. But we'll bounce around some of our tower cams. We'll go back to SRP Park. Look at that. That's completely covered in snow now at the moment, and this looked completely different just about 30 minutes ago or so. We'll go outside of our station. This is a look down at our parking lot. Can't even see really across I-20 there towards the horizon. Starting to notice this accumulate on those grassy surfaces too. And the thing is, another thing we were talking about, we're starting to see some accumulation on roadways up in Wilkes County. The spots we're going to have to worry about first are elevated things like overpasses, bridges. Those locations are going to be able to have problems initially once this snow really picks up for the next couple of hours.
Yeah, definitely. So something you're talking about, those overpasses and bridges, things like that. I was looking at the soil temperature last night, and it was around 40 degrees, which is where it's been all week. And I think now the soil has cooled off. I'll have to double check that, but I think it's cooled off and things are really starting to stick. But those overpasses and bridges, they don't have that heat from the earth, from the ground, so they're going to cool so much faster and create very hazardous driving conditions. So please be careful. And I think this is from Richmond, South Carolina.
This is actually just down the road from our station. This
Just
is
kidding.
So Richmond County. This is the Washington Road exit off of I-20. So those spots are kind of what we're talking about. Those overpasses, bridges, those are going to be the issues that are able to cool off more efficiently than anything that has that insulation from the ground. But you can see a lot of cars out there, but you can see kind of behind the car kicking up some liquid. So the brine's doing its job right now, but as temperatures continue to get colder as we head into tonight, that brine becomes less efficient. So, and more people traveling on the roadways too should help keep them a little bit warmer. But that's the thing, we've kind of been bouncing around some of our tower cams, not only at our station, but also on the Georgia DOT map. We'll go down to, this is a look right at the Welcome Center. Takes it a couple seconds for the video to load, but this is just kind of showing you how conditions do look different. Just a short drive across the viewing area. Wherever you've seen some heavier snow bands, maybe you're seeing some better accumulations. If you've been fairly dry, just kind of lighter snow most of the day, you may not necessarily have seen a ton. But there's a look right just before the Welcome Center right there. I'll move it around and adjust it just a little bit so you can kind of see as you get off at the exit, you can see those grassy surfaces now starting to get covered by snow. So we're starting to see better accumulation now here across most of the area. Now, as we look over to the Carolina side, this is a look between exit 1 and exit 5. You can see those grassy surfaces now starting to see some accumulation too. So on the South Carolina side, Georgia side, we're seeing some pretty decent snow at the moment. We'll go back out to our Harlem radar just to show you kind of where we're looking at the heaviest snow right now across the area. And this is highlighting where that heavier band is, where you kind of see the darker blue color. So I'll use my little finger pointer right here. So through Washington, southern Lincoln County, right over Clarks Hill, over the dam, through southern Edgefield County, and now starting to work its way into Aiken County. So those darker blues, that's what our Harlem radar is currently picking up on higher snow rates and where we could see accumulations happen a little bit faster. So that's our Harlem radar. You can access that right in our First Alert weather app. Basically, when you go to the radar page, you just click First Alert radar instead of plain radar, and it'll give you this exclusive access to that radar site. When we switch over to our kind of composite view of surrounding radar sites, we're taking in data from Greenville, Atlanta, Charleston, Columbia, Macon. You can see it doesn't have quite the high resolution view that Harlem radar does, but pretty much everyone in the CSRA is seeing snow at the moment. I got a report from Hilda and Barnwell County just a little bit ago. They had some pretty good snow coming down. So one of those rare events to where it's really everywhere in the CSRA has snow. It's not like we're talking about, oh, it's just going to be northern CSRA or just the southern CSRA. It's really everyone luckily getting some flakes.
Yeah, and I think everybody is excited about that as well, but I am glad that we're all getting some sort of snowfall, because that would be sad if it was really just like our most northern counties, because I know people, I mean, we saw earlier today, people drove from Florida to see the snowfall. So, you know, we just don't see it very much here. So it's definitely enjoyable when we do. But I was looking at the radar there with those heavier bands. Malik was in one of those heavier bands. So kind of what he was seeing just a few minutes ago, that's what I'm predicting it's looking like moving into Aiken County. Yep. And speaking of Aiken County, we have your Ethan Hunter. He's live there, and I think they're about to get, if not already, seeing that heavier band of snow showers. So let's see what he's got, Ethan.
You're probably going to hear it get about 10 text messages.
Okay.
You're live, Ethan.
Oh, we're live right now? Well, hey guys, my fault. We're getting it set up here. We've been just hanging out in the snow. As you can tell, it's a pretty fun time. And the snow is coming down even more than we came to you. I don't know, we came to you maybe about 30, 45 minutes ago, but we're still at the Hopelands Gardens, where it is now sticking, I mean, tremendously to the grass here, as you can see all around us. It is really accumulating. I mean, you can't even see the mulch over there under that tree right behind me. And the grass right here really starting to accumulate more and more as we're gonna take you through the park here. I mean, it is just a beautiful day. We've seen a lot of people. We just talked to a guy that came out here to take some pictures. You know, the Hopelands Gardens is a big spot in the Aiken area, so a lot of people recognize this, know this as one of the more beautiful spots in downtown Aiken. So people have been coming down here and talking to us all day.
like we said earlier, we saw a surprise engagement, so that was awesome. Congrats to Robert and Ashley from Aiken once again. That's really cool. And yeah, the snow is just falling more and more here. Kind of, you can see it kind of dusting the trees, starting to get a really nice coat on these trees right up here, and really sticking to the ground now. I mean, from Malik tried to make that snowball earlier, and look at how easy this is. We are in peak snowball form now. The key to a good snowball that's like powdery like this is you got to use the heat of your hands. So we've got a nice, look at that. You've got to, that's how you get that pack going. Maybe got some leaves and some grass in there, but look at that. Look at that kind of snowball. I wasn't able to see Malik's snowball earlier, but I mean, come on. Let's see if we can, oh, right off the tree there. So we are in peak snowball form here. Maybe, honestly, if you're out here in the Hopelands Gardens, we've got plenty of open land that is just getting covered with this snow as the flurries are really starting to come down, and really big, beautiful flurries here. You don't see stuff like this too often, especially down here, but really anywhere, these perfect snowflakes. I mean, the kinds that you make with scissors in elementary school. So as we're seeing that, I mean, feel free to come down here, find a big open field, and you're going to get pretty easy snowball. You know, maybe we might be in the range for a snowman. I know we have been talking about that as that has developed through the day, but we're getting towards snowman time. We are definitely in snowball time, peak snow angel time as well. It's just a great time out here, and we've been talking to a lot of people that have been having a lot of fun out here in the Hopelands Gardens and around the area of Aiken. We're about to go downtown in just a little bit.
And those are some big snowflakes. I just took a peek outside our station because we have windows too. I mean, it is really coming down. I know that we were expecting that band to hit Aiken too. We saw Malik out in Wilkes County. I mean, it is incredible out there. It is so pretty too.
It is, and that was a pretty decent sized snowball.
That was a good snowball.
Right, he was able to make. Ethan, we heard you witnessed a proposal today there at Hopelands Garden. What was that like?
Oh yeah, that was great. So we got here. We were the only people here at first, and then one car showed up that was their photographer actually. So we just asked them what they're doing out here. A family with a little kid that was enjoying the snow as well, and she said that she was there to take some engagement photos. And so, you know, we're storytellers. We knew that we had to get that. I mean, that's just a beautiful moment. We're trying to capture everything going on in the snow right now, and so we talked to them. Got them all set up and figured out where they're going to go. And then our news operations manager that's with me, Gary, and I, we hid behind a tree, and we had our tripod set up so that we weren't really, we weren't ruining the surprise or anything. But Robert and Ashley from Aiken, Robert actually moved up to Canada, flew back just this weekend just to propose to his now fiance, and is flying back tomorrow. So it is a beautiful moment that we just got to capture here in the snow. He had no plan of it being in the snow, but he brought the snow down with him from Canada. So we actually have some of that interview that we are going to show you right now of this proposal here in Aiken that we just happened to stumble upon in the snow. Oh, my fault. I guess you're just getting some video of it. I thought we had the sound. We're going to have that sound for you later. We did talk to them afterwards, but you can see it there then in the video that we're showing you that yes, I'm not lying to you, a beautiful proposal here between the trees. And that's kind of the scene. I mean, you can see even in that video that it was less snowy than it is now. I mean, this is like, it is really coming down now. We are getting full blankets. But yeah, a beautiful moment that we got to see there just about an hour or so ago as these people are getting engaged.
Now that's something, and I love this story behind it. So he came down. We have one day to do this because I have to go back to Canada tomorrow. So he was like, it's now or never. But what more beautiful way?
We're assuming she said yes, which is a good thing. They hugged. So
yes.
We got a yes out of it.
I saw a hand like this in the photo. So
to make sure.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
It's very memorable. That is something you can look back, have those photos, and be like, this was the one day that we got proposed or engaged, I should say, when he proposed. So congratulations to them. Glad she said yes. Very memorable moment. Glad we were there to capture that too and share that story.
I know.
That's awesome.
That is so sweet. And that photographer too. he is a trooper.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hiding behind the tree, and then he comes out and had to do all this in that snow. But
just lucky his hands didn't freeze, or their hands didn't freeze while they were taking photos there too. It is cold out there. We know that. The temperature's dropped.
And that's another thing. We're talking a lot about the snow, but the temperatures right now. I mean, I'm sure everyone, if you are going to be outside, dress in your layers. I did the same thing with, my coats coming into work today, because you do want to be careful out there.
Yeah, and if you are on the roads, this is something that I've always done since I lived up north, was that you always travel with an extra jacket, hat and gloves, some hand warmers, extra water and food, because you never know if your car breaks down, if you go off the road, get into an accident, then you're going to be without heat, you're going to be on the side of the road maybe too. So it's always important to make sure that you're prepared for something that may happen. Absolutely. That you may not expect to happen too. So having that hat and gloves, you got to change a tire out there, it can really help you. So while you're waiting for any help that may be on its way. So we're going to take a short break here, but we'll be right back after this. All right, welcome back to our special snow coverage here on WRDW Plus. Again, I'm Will Rio.
I'm Zaina Halliburton. It's nice to have you with us. Hopefully you're enjoying this snow. It's not something we see around here.
Have to be enjoying it, right? Everyone going outside, have the kids outside. I know we had a viewer photo too, or video of some kids playing on a trampoline. Good idea, maybe a little slippery, but you never know. Having some fun.
Hey, they're taking it all in, because I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, when will we see something like this again? It's really rare. So hopefully you're having fun, but at the same time, hopefully you are, taking all the needed precautions, because the roads are wet. And of course, with the temperatures too, that can cause them to be slick as well.
Yeah, we did see a lot of people out earlier today, but the roads are starting to get some accumulation on them. So turning from wet to some more snow, and it turns to slush at that point when it mixes with some of that water. But I know that we have Kayla Lopez live in downtown Augusta. Kayla, how's it looking down there? It looks like it's also accumulating on some of those cars on the side of the road.
Yeah, well, this is that kind of snow that we had been waiting for all day. I'm here at the intersection of Broad Street and James Brown Boulevard in front of Amy's, which is a cafe. So we set up shop here, got some coffee, but this is kind of what we're talking about. It's really starting to accumulate. We just were live on social media and we did a vote. We made these little snowmen right here. And the viewers have named this one January and this one is Bob. I don't know why, but those are just the names that won the snowman contest. So again, January and Bob are here. Maybe you guys can come by tomorrow, be safe on the roads, and if there's safe driving conditions, come check out January and Bob. But let's take a little bit of a walk and show you guys. It is really cold and it's really starting to come down right now. Finally starting to accumulate. If you look in the middle of the two roads, sort of in the median, Nothing was sticking there maybe even 30 minutes ago, but now finally there's some accumulation. So definitely the road conditions, not the safest right now. If you don't absolutely have to be out, please do not drive. And we know that the longer that it goes on, the worse it will get. But let's keep walking. A lot of these businesses are open, and they stayed open earlier in the day because they wanted to see how the day went. So the owner here at this cafe said they were going to monitor and decide to close with how they felt. And as you can see, there are some cars out, but I can't emphasize enough, please don't travel if you don't have to. Be safe, monitor the weather. But I mean, it's really starting to come down. I mean, otherwise it's really exciting. Like, we made snowmen. Probably don't have nearly as much as like Malik or Ethan, but look how like powdery. It's such nice snow. And I just wanted to mention this. If anybody's seen that SpongeBob episode, I can't stop thinking about it, where he's like trying to deliver the pizza and he's like in the storm. That's what I feel like when I face I-20. And then this way it's like all sunshine and rainbows. But that's kind of all I got. So, I mean, I'm glad you guys are warm at the station, but I'm having a good time.
That's exactly what it reminds me of, that SpongeBob episode, for those of you who don't know it. That's
the
a perfect
song is
analysis.
in my head. Thanks for that, Kayla. Since you are downtown, we know a lot of businesses closed today because of the anticipation of this weather. And looking behind you, a business does look closed. From what you've seen, have you noticed a lot of closures, or are some businesses still open?
Yeah, so the case with Amos, they opened up really early. We were trying to figure out a plan for, where I was going to go live from today. And we saw that they posted on Instagram and said, hey, we're open, we're there. So we were like, okay, let's go check it out. I talked to them, and they say that them, along with a lot of other businesses downtown, are just monitoring it. When the road conditions were better this morning, they opened up, and then they said, if we get business, we'll stay open if people want to make that drive. And then if they don't get business and the weather conditions get too bad, they'll close. But in this restaurant that we're hanging out right now, there's probably a good 15, 20 people in there. And I'm assuming those are people who live nearby that could walk here. But I mean, even here, there are some individuals that just left one of these stores walking around downtown. So, so people are out enjoying it. But again, don't drive if you don't have to. So I'd like to assume these people are within a walking distance and we're able to get to some of these businesses. But it isn't just this place. Some of these places are open. And so I think they're just kind of monitoring it. And we know social media is a big platform from a lot of these downtown establishments. So check those.
Yeah, it's good to get out, support the local businesses, especially on a day where they might not get the same business on a normal Saturday. But it's good to get out there, get some hot coffee, maybe some hot chocolate too. Enjoy the weather, enjoy the snow. Yeah. It's pretty snow. It's not like craziness, but it is pretty beautiful outside if you go out there and enjoy it.
It is. It really is the definition of a snow day, and you can spend it however you choose, whether that's downtown, right, like some people are doing, or indoors. But again, we do keep saying, you do want to take precaution and be safe on the roads. Yesterday, we got a close-up of how crews make brine. Yeah. Ethan Hunter actually took us to one of their locations, and it was really neat to see. So we also just want to take time too to thank our crews who have been working around the clock to keep us safe, on the roads too, for anyone that absolutely has to travel.
I remember GDOT and SCDOT saying that their workers came off really long hours from the ice storm that happened last week, not only here but all across the state. So we really do appreciate those workers who were out there earlier this week to make sure our roads were safe and in good condition to prepare for today. And that's what we're seeing. The roads have held up pretty well, but we are starting to see some of that accumulation as we toss things over to our First Alert weather team. Riley and Emily, you guys actually have the dam up behind you. Look at the road there.
Yeah.
We're starting to see road conditions go downhill pretty quick, guys, and that's going to be the big concern for the rest of today through tonight. Remember, temperatures only get colder, and it's going to be more likely our road conditions deteriorate more, especially since we are expecting more snow over the next several hours. Wanted to take you a full view of just kind of our Thurman Dam cam. Take a look at the wind. So breezy conditions leading to blowing snow, reducing that visibility. Hard to even see down the full length of the dam, and can't even see West Dam Park or Lake Springs recreation area there across the dam like we could see on a clear day. So visibility down to a half mile roughly as this snow is starting to blow around. And take a look down at the dam. You can see snow is now covering that roadway. So 221, we are starting to notice that some snow is covering that roadway. We've had a few cars pass by. They've been taking it slow, thankfully, but I would imagine many roads across the northern CSRA are starting to look like this, and that is going to be the biggest concern as we move forward through the rest of tonight and even into early tomorrow morning. We're likely not going to get back above freezing until much later into our Sunday. So that's really the biggest thing we want to harp on, is that if you can avoid travel, that's ideal. I know a lot of people can't do that. A lot of people went into work early this morning. They're going to have to travel home later tonight. Just want to make sure you're going extra slow. Make sure you are putting a lot of extra distance between you and that car in front of you, and just try to travel major roadways. Try to stay on the interstates, the highways. If you can avoid back roads, that is going to be best to help keep you safe. But really impressive how we just saw those road conditions go downhill that quickly from our Thurman Dam cam.
Yeah, this is really reminding me of back in 2014. I didn't live here, but I lived in Birmingham, and it started to snow and it was nice and pretty and fun, and then it started to accumulate on the road super fast. So again, if you can stay home, please stay home, because say you want to run out and do something real quick, well, whenever you turn to go back home, the roads might not be as passable as maybe they were on your way there. So we're seeing very rapid road conditions deteriorating. I guess that's probably a better word for it. But again, that's going to be the story throughout the rest of the day, throughout the night, throughout the start of your day tomorrow as well. So just plan for that. Stay home. Have a good time at the house and play out in the snow. But here's a look. Where is this, Riley?
This is between exit 1 and 5, crossing over into Carolina. So right between those exits, we got this live view from SCDOT. But as Zeta and Will were just talking about, hats off to the crews working around the clock to try to brine those road surfaces. And you can see I-20 looks safe right now, and that is thanks to all the brining operations they have been doing across both Georgia and South Carolina. It's going to be those outlying roads that don't necessarily get traveled a ton, where those conditions are going to be worse, and also those bridges and overpasses we've been mentioning as well. Emily was just looking at the traffic map here from SCDOT. We'll zoom this out. She was saying there's already a lot of accidents here around Columbia. So they saw the snow start early this morning. They've had continuous snowfall all day, so you can see already reporting some hazardous conditions out there. Disabled vehicles, and I think Will mentioned this earlier. This is kind of one of those dangerous situations. Say you are driving, you lose control, go off on the side of the road. Well, now you're dealing with brutally cold temperatures, especially into tonight. We'll have single-digit wind chills most likely as we head past around 8 p.m. tonight, and that will be through the entirety of the overnight hours. So just going to continue to see these conditions go downhill. We're not anywhere close to being done with the snow just yet, and already seeing those road conditions start to deteriorate across a good portion of the area.
Yeah, I want to take a look at what the current wind chill is. Do you have that easily accessible?
So wind chill was already down into the teens in Washington, and that's an official observation from the Washington Wilkes Airport. So they currently feel like 13 right now. Wow. It currently feels like 18 over there in Aiken. That 20 you see in Augusta is coming from Bush Field. So temperatures have continued to cool off as this snow is kind of, Chris and I were talking about this process earlier this morning, that we get sublimation initially with this. So this leads to ice transferring into water vapor, which really takes away a lot of that heat energy away from our atmosphere, which leads our temperatures to drop pretty quickly. So we have seen that. Actually, I'm going to take a look at our thermometer outside of our studios here off our weather station. It's down to 28, so it's dropped about 6-7 degrees since early this morning, and we are seeing some impressive cold out there because it's also pretty windy, especially the further west you get in towards places like Sparta, Milledgeville, Sandersville, Wrightsville. They've had some gusts over 20 at times so far today. And you go over towards Atlanta, they actually had a gust of 60 miles an hour just about an hour ago. Luckily, we're not expecting those type of winds for us here locally, but over in Atlanta, they have sustained wind at 30. They've had some gusts near 50. In Macon, they have sustained wind over 15, gusts near 40. You can see for most of the CSRA, our winds are staying manageable, generally between 5 to 10, but up there in Washington, they have a sustained wind at 13. So that's an actual temp, mid-20s, 13 mile an hour wind, making it feel like 13 already. So just kind of brutally cold conditions out there. And with our road conditions continuing to go down, For the rest of today, we're talking about, say you do travel out there later tonight, you unfortunately may get in an accident. Well, then emergency response may be delayed too, because now they're kind of struggling to get to these accident sites. And that's going to be what we really have to keep an eye on and make sure everyone is staying safe with. And this is the map we were kind of showing you pretty much all week long, that we were expecting these moderate to major road impacts across the area. We weren't talking about power outage risk. We are really highlighting it's going to be our road conditions. That's going to be the biggest thing with this snow event. So as long as we can keep people safe off the roadways, this should be a fun snow day across the area. We're going to take a quick break, but be right back just after a couple minutes here.
All right, welcome back to our special snow coverage here on WRDW Plus. And we've been going for about an hour now, and we've really started to see the snow pick up over the last hour or so. It's incredible to see outside. I just took a peek outside our station. It's crazy. It's crazy out there.
Coated outside
so cool.
right now. It's really neat to just kind of watch it throughout the day and how fast it can pick up. We've been talking about road conditions.
Yep.
Earlier, things were fine, but right now with it accumulating, we are encouraging everyone, if you don't have to travel, please don't. Just stay at home, enjoy the snow day, go outside your doors with your family and kids and have fun. We have reporters out across the CSRA kind of keeping us updated with how things look. We have Ethan, who's in Aiken County. Malik, we checked in earlier. We do need to go back to Malik at some point.
He might be snowed in out there at Wilkes County.
Right.
I mean, it was coming down out there.
I think he had the most snow so far of what we've seen. And we just talked to Kayla Lopez not too long ago in downtown Augusta. But right now we have Joseph Doring, who's actually across the river in Lexington for us. Hey, Joseph, how are things
Xana,
looking?
right now we are currently... right now it's kind of looking like how it's looking across the rest of the CSRA to our other reporters that y'all have gone live to here in just about the last hour. I'm currently on the side of Highway 378 here in Lexington, but us locals, we like to call it Sunset Boulevard. Traffic right now, not as much as I'd usually see here on a Saturday, of course, just due to the weather, but the roads are holding up nicely. Several cars are still moving here and out. I know Riley talked earlier about how those road conditions might start to deteriorate as the night goes along and these temperatures start to drop down a little bit. But right now it kind of looks like business as usual. There's only a couple businesses and restaurants closed up here, but everybody else has their doors open, ready to welcome in anyone trying to maybe get in some last minute supplies for this evening, or just simply trying to get to the grocery store and get back home before the evening ends. I woke up this morning, I opened up the blinds at my apartment, and I was starting to be a little bit underwhelmed, because being from the south and you get the chance for snow, you get really excited, and then you open up the blinds and you start to see barely anything on the ground. but fortunately I date a meteorologist. And she said, no, Joseph, just wait until this afternoon. Wait until we get to about the 1 to 2 o'clock window. And was I proven wrong? Because this is maybe some of the most substantial snowfall that I've gotten to see, being from Alabama my whole life and living in the South majority of it. So it's truly a sight to see out here across the CSRA and up here in Lexington. I mean, I'm kind of blown away. I wish this was the kind of weather we got during Christmas, guys, but we'll take it when we get it right here on the last day of January.
Yeah, Mother Nature really operates on her own time, doesn't she? She doesn't listen to us.
No.
She does not care.
But I feel like so many people agree with that, right? You want to wake up Christmas morning, look outside, and have this, white Christmas, right? But here in the South, that's tough. And I will say, even my memories in Oklahoma, Christmas time and having snow was hit or miss. It's always this time right now, January, where the snow it came with a bang.
Yeah, that's really what we see all over the place, too. And I know Joe's out in Lexington, outside of Columbia there. My brother's up in Greenville, and about 8:30 this morning, 9:30. I mean, they had a good amount of snow up there, so they got hit pretty early, and then it made its way down here. We were a little delayed, we know that, but it eventually ended up showing up here, right? I know everyone was a little disappointed when they looked out their windows this morning. What is going on? Facebook was in an uproar. Torches and pitchforks, that's what it was.
Yes.
But it eventually came, and we are really seeing it, and now we're going to see some impacts from that too. We were talking about the roadways and some other factors that are taking place here as we're starting to see some substantial snowfall.
And we're actually getting reports that we have viewer images, photos, and videos. Are we going to show those right now? We can see what people have sent to us. So this looks like just right outside of someone's home. Not sure where this is, but in our area. But look at that.
This is in Evans, I believe, is our first one.
Okay.
And then we have Grovetown and North Augusta too. So all across the region in our viewing area here, we're getting good amounts of snow. I mean, this is something that's widespread. This is not just the CSRA. I mean, this is stretching well up into Columbia and up into the upstate too in South Carolina. So very expansive. We know we've seen a lot of our different cameras too showing what look like flurries at this point, or blizzard with the snow that's out there and how much is falling. We've got those fat flakes, so it's almost like foggy out there. You're seeing so much snow.
But man, some really neat photos. But you can just see how fast that snow picks up. Oh my goodness.
And there you go. I don't know where this road is, but McCormick. Okay, that was out in McCormick. So you start getting into those counties that are a little bit further away from the metro, and that's when you start. That's what you're going to run into. The DOT crews aren't able to get to all of these smaller side roads as well, and that's what you're going to see. And that's where we're telling people to be careful. Is if you decide to go out in this weather, you need to be prepared if you get stuck or if you get a flat tire. I mean, you're going to need a hat, gloves, and a jacket too while you're waiting on help. First responders also going to be delayed if they have to come out there to try to help too. So it's really important that you take precautions here if you do try to head out today.
Absolutely, and you have to think about neighborhoods too.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes those are some of the worst spots because our crews are going to work on your main roads, right? But if you can't get out your neighborhood, you really don't want to risk that. But it's neat to see just all the photos everyone's sending in. Earlier, we were talking to our first alert team. They were showing us the dam and how the snow accumulation just picked up on that road.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a flurry out there when they showed the dam cam earlier, and it's just crazy. We have that accumulation on the road too, so it's really, really cool to see how much snow is coming down. I hope everyone is at home enjoying this too, whether the kids are out there or whether the grown adults are out there who don't get to see this very often, who are out there enjoying the snow. It's a great sight.
Absolutely, and we just showed you a few, but viewers, please keep sending us your photos, videos. We want to see the kids having fun. We want to see your pets. There's a code at the bottom of your screen. If you just scan it, you'll be able to submit your photos, so you might just see it right here on our stream or later at 6 o'clock on our newscast. But we hope everyone's having fun and enjoying it, but most importantly, we hope that you are staying safe at the same time. And temperatures are cold out there, and we know the sun, it doesn't really look like the sun's out much. I can't see it,
Right.
but as it gets darker tonight, things really will blow over and become slick. And we're going to send things out to our Sydney Hood and see what it's looking like where she is.
Okay, raise your hand if all week your eyes have been glued to the forecast and all morning you have been checking outside every 5 minutes, waiting for snow, and now that it's finally here, you can hardly contain your excitement. I'm a South Georgia girl, so just the thought of snow makes me so excited. And I may seem calm on the outside, but trust that I am screaming on the inside at all of this around me. I've already picked out a spot for me to make a snow angel. I've already made a snowball, so I'm doing all the fun things out here, just taking all of this in. I went for a run earlier whenever the flurry started, and like I said, I'm just so excited to see snow out here. I'm standing beside I-20 near Wheeler Road, and I see a couple of cars here and there on the road, and from what I can see right now, they are taking it slow, which is a good thing because all week we've been telling you all that the driving conditions for this weekend are not going to be the best, and to stay off the roads if you can avoid travel. But for those cars that I do see on the road, they seem to be taking it slow, so that's a good thing to see. I'm going to be out here all afternoon, like I said, just making the most of this snow right here. We don't get this often here, so I'm gonna have some fun out here, but we're gonna be all throughout the area all afternoon, all into the evening, bringing you the latest on what you need to know and the fun that you can have in this winter wonderland that we have going on here.
Just all over the place. We're seeing that crazy amount of snowfall and the accumulation too.
I know.
It's
Talk
awesome to
about, I
see.
love that. Exactly what Sydney just said, a winter wonderland. Earlier I was talking about the sun. There is no sun. It's just all white out right now, but it is going to get darker. So.
Yeah, and we're expecting those temperatures to fall. It is going to be cold over the next few days, tonight into the next few days too. So I know we have reporters spread out all across the area here. I know we have your Gunter Schroeder who's standing by with what he's seeing in Augusta.
We're here at Alexander Drive in between Riverwatch Parkway and Washington Road, and look at the difference an hour makes for 3 p.m. snowfall. It's just about been an hour since the last update, and already we're seeing the ground almost entirely covered here in the median and starting to see some accumulation here a tiny bit on the roads as well. And that's a talking point that GDOT has been saying. Don't exactly expect the roads to be entirely clear over the next few hours and overnight from Saturday into Sunday, because these types of flakes are thick and they're going to be falling onto the road, making it tougher. And although the brine process has already taken place, definitely a lot of danger on the road. So if you are heading out over the next few hours, as we can still see some cars coming by on Alexander Drive, make sure you're taking those precautions, not driving too fast on the roads, but definitely a lot to see here on Alexander Drive. Definitely the snow is sticking here. We could see between 3 and 6 inches in certain parts of the CSRA, depending where you are, but this winter storm watch is continuing for a lot of the CSRA. We'll keep you updated here in Augusta. I'm Gunter Schroeder, on your side.
Hey, like you said, an hour makes all the difference out here. We're starting to see more of that across our area too. So just an hour ago at around 2 o'clock, there was barely any snow on the ground, and now it's just all white out there.
It's crazy to see because we could see a lot of the grass, but now on Alexander Drive an hour later, it just looks like snow to me at this point.
And the roads still looked okay out there. Again, I know we sound like a broken record, keep talking about this, but that's going to be a main factor, is if we start seeing those accidents and the road conditions start to deteriorate, that's what we need to start paying attention to. But for now, I-20 is looking pretty good around the area. Some of those major roads that GDOT and SCDOT were able to brine ahead of time, they're looking pretty good. They're holding up well, but still there's a lot more snow headed our way too.
Right, and we're talking especially overnight too. So be careful if you do have to go onto the roads. We have been saying if you do have any photos or videos you would like to share of your area, please send those to us, and hopefully we can show those. But we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back and check on with some of our other reporters across the CSRA.
Welcome back to our special snow coverage here on WRDW Plus. And again, if you've been with us for about the past hour and a half or so, we've got reporters all over the area here who are checking in and seeing significant snowfall at this point.
And it's been exciting to see just the snow accumulate over the last hour that we've been at the desk talking about it. And I also like tossing it to our reporters because a lot of them are from the South.
Yep.
And so I think they're just as excited as a lot of you at home are.
And we have Alyssa Lyons, who is outside of our station. She's originally from Ohio, so she's used to this. She came down to the South to get rid of all of this, but here she is in the middle of it. Alyssa.
Yeah, I've been from Cincinnati. I went to school at Syracuse, and I also worked in Eau Claire, Wisconsin for a little bit, so this is really nothing. But, you know, it's not sticking to the roads, but sure is sticking to me, so that should really tell you something that it's coming down, and it's coming down in full force now. So it's coming down pretty fast, and one of the things that I noticed that, yeah, there's not many cars on the roads, but people are starting to take advantage of the snow. We didn't see that too much in the last 2 hours as it started to trickle down, but as I was coming up the road on 1226 Gray Way. We're right next to Dave & Buster's, where you usually go inside to play some games, where all the kids were outside sledding down the hill. So if you need a good sledding hill, I guess that's the one to go on today. A lot of kids out with cardboard boxes and stuff too. But yeah, I think one of the things that we're seeing is that it's picking up speed. I was really curious to see what kind of snow we were gonna get, because being from Cincinnati, it could be a couple different things. It could be straight ice coming down. It could be lake effect snow coming off the river, or it could just be packed full snow. So right now what we're getting is some pretty nice, just a group of different things. So what I'm seeing out here is that you can make a snowball. It's starting to come pick up about an inch out here. You can make a little one. So, if you get enough and you use all your siblings to help you make a good snowball, you can hit your sibling right after you make it. So it's good stuff out here. The best thing about this, though, again, it's not sticking to the road. So if you need to run an errand, right now is probably the time to do it. Maybe hop in a big rig and F-150 if you need to do any of those errands. I suggest not taking out your grandpa's 2003 Chevy Impala with 130,000 miles on it. I digress. That was something that happened to me, so don't do that, but hop in a bigger vehicle if you do need to go anywhere. And again, put up those windshield wipers if you are parked and staying in for the rest of the night, because now that we're starting to see it come down and it is starting to melt, that can quickly turn to ice, and you're going to be up against a pretty hefty bill if you decide to turn on those windshield wipers. They don't work.
And Alyssa, you mentioned the kids over at Dave & Buster's not playing inside, but playing outside in the snow and sledding too. I'm always curious to find what crazy object kids and adults try to use to snow. It can be something wild.
Yeah, I think last year when I did snow coverage, I made a really, really bad mistake. Okay, so grabbed a few different objects in the past. I mean, anything from, your cardboard boxes, maybe just a flat surface, one of those bins that you put all your Christmas decorations in, sledded on that stuff. But what I grabbed was one of those just little signs that said, Saturday market here. And I went down a hill. There was not enough snow on the ground, and I ended up getting clay all over my jeans. In about 2 weeks, it took me to get that clay out.
So some advice here on this Saturday afternoon is make sure you know where you're sledding, and make sure that you have a good device to sled down a hill with too. Those cardboard boxes aren't very reliable when you start going down those hills like that.
People get very creative. I think I shared this story.
They pay off big.
They do, right?
I shared this story, I think, with Riley not too long ago. When I was younger, I had one of those, the rockers, the horse, that sits on a rocker. It's almost like, looks like skis. I mean, so my parents were like, hey, let's take Zayna out. I was young, and we have a big hill back home in Oklahoma. And for some reason, my dad thought it would be great for my mom to be at the bottom to catch me. And then my dad was the one pushing me. But my dad was like, Zayna, you took off. Mind you, we're not far from the road. Thank goodness my mom was able to stop me, and I didn't make it to the road. But she was like, I had so much anxiety. I don't know why we did it, and I don't know why your dad put me at the bottom to stop you.
Everyone be careful out there. I know,
yes.
Listen, I know there's no snow or really any ice on the ground, on the road actually. And another thing people do is they try to sled behind a car, and the car's pulling them or something crazy, don't do
yes,
that.
yes.
That just is going to cause a whole bunch of problems. I know it looks like fun, but it can be very dangerous too. Start to see incidents like that happen. So I know it's not really on the roads yet, but it can be dangerous if there are trees around, if there are other cars too.
Absolutely.
But we are still seeing significant snowfall come down all across our area. We'll get a check at the radar here as we toss things over to your First Alert weather team who's tracking this, guys.
Yeah, guys, we got a pretty good snow band that's now reaching the I-20 corridor, stretching from Thompson all the way towards us here in Columbia County and also Richmond County, too. So it's these really heavy snow bands where we've seen road conditions go from passable to just impassable. And I wanted to actually go to some of our cameras here from the Georgia DOT map to where we're actually looking at the potential for some closures already in places like Wilkes County. So here's a look at this map for you. So up towards Wilkes County, you can see up Highway 78, they're saying incident closure, icy patches on State Road 10, both directions at Upton Mill Drive. All lanes are closed right there. So that started at 2:59 p.m. Anticipated end time maybe 5 p.m. if we get some break in the snow, and they can treat this a little bit more. But this was just updated about 10 minutes ago. And you can see just kind of the red on 78. So this is off the Thompson exit. If you're turning right and going north up towards downtown Washington, you can see a lot of red on the map right here. And going down towards Thompson, our camera right at the interstate is not working, but you can see just a lot of red and yellow right there. So possibly seeing some issues already on I-20, kind of depending on where you're at. But take a look at this. This is actually a look at in Thompson off State Road 17 and at State Road 150. And you can see, starting to see some accumulations on those road surfaces out there. So that's going to be the big thing we're going to have to keep an eye on for the rest of today and tonight. Is that since we have seen a little bit heavier snow pickup, this is going to lead to some issues out there. So here's a current look at it. You can see those roadways right there pretty much completely covered. And I'm not sure what's going on with these cars just kind of stayed on the side of the road, but those grassy surfaces completely covered right now. And these type of conditions going to continue unfolding across a good portion of the area. So I want to make sure everyone is aware of that threat. That's going to be the biggest thing that we are monitoring. So starting to just kind of keep an eye on more of these cameras, and there's just a little bit wider view of that. And it may just be that that car can't really move all too well because it's completely iced over, already leading to a little bit of a traffic jam.
And Riley, I want to chime in here. When was the last time you saw something like this, do you think?
I mean, last year we had a couple of snow events to where some of our southern counties got 2 to 3 inches. I remember looking at this cam last January, about a year ago from the date, to where it kind of looks similar to that. Now, for us here in Augusta, we have not recorded 2 inches or more of snow since February 2010. So Augusta has really been in a big snow hole to where outlying areas of the CSRA have been able to see a little bit more snow than us here locally. But I would say this type of snow, and for lasting this long, combined with the really cold temperatures, this is the first time I've really seen this happen in the CSRA. So just kind of the combo of that to where we're seeing not only heavy snow at times, but also some gusty winds, and then just really bone-chilling cold behind the snow that will move in for the rest of tonight. So yeah, definitely a very rare setup that we haven't seen necessarily in a good while here around the area.
And you mentioned the winds. I kind of wanted to touch on that a little bit. We were seeing crazy wind gusts over in Atlanta. 60 mile per hour was recorded at the airport. But as we get a little bit closer to us here in the CSRA, not as windy, but I will say any type of wind. I mean, if we see wind gusts at 10 miles per hour, that's going to blow this snow. This is very powdery like snow, and that's going to cause conditions, very difficult seeing conditions on the roadway. So not only are the roads going to be difficult to pass, but seeing as well. And where is this, Riley?
This is in McDuffie County, just outside of Thompson, too. So this is State Road 223 at Harrison Road, and you could see it just a little bit. Kind of the wind was enough to kind of blow around those traffic signals. But as you just said, Emily, we got blowing snow with this powdery, powdery, dry snow. This is leading to that wind being able to pick it up a little bit more, and it's tough to see maybe a half mile in front of you. So some lower visibility definitely showing up, and it's these heavier snow bands that are now starting to arrive here around I-20, places like Thompson, to where we're just seeing road conditions just really go downhill very quickly. So you can see most of that road completely snow covered at the moment, and that's going to be a big concern for us.
Yeah, honestly, this is making me nervous just watching these cars right there. Not only like they seem to be doing okay, and this was kind of my motto as well, just maybe you feel confident in driving in the snow, but I can tell you, some people that don't feel confident might still be driving. So,
right.
you know, you got to pay attention to, I knew myself, I was like, cannot drive in this. I'm getting here before it starts. Like,
you have to be very careful. I mean, you got to pump your brakes. You don't want to go crazy on that, right? Give yourself some extra time to stop, especially when you're coming up to those stop signs going down hills or coming up to a stoplight too. That's really important.
Definitely so. And as you said, Will, don't slam on your brakes, but pump your brakes, especially if you start to slide, turn into that slide. This is another look from our Thurman Dam cam to where it looks slightly better than what it did maybe just like 20, 30 minutes ago, but you can still see snow on the roadway right there. So that's 221 going from Columbia County into McCormick County. And as we're still seeing snow there up at the lake, it's just not quite as heavy as it was with that stronger band that did just pass through about 30, 45 minutes ago. But now that band is reaching I-20 corridor, and that's what we just saw there in Thompson from that traffic camera, to where road conditions kind of go downhill with that heavier snow that is passing through the region.
yeah, he was going very fast for me, but we would see stuff behind his truck.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of wondering, you know, that's still showing moisture out there. Is that going to be black ice here shortly?
I think it will be turning into black ice, if not this afternoon, definitely by tonight, because we've been talking about how the brine is very useful up until a certain point. Once your temperatures start to get below 20 degrees, then the brine is less effective. And that's the thing. We're expecting temperatures to get below 20 late tonight into tomorrow morning. So even though the snow may come to an end later this evening into early tonight, the real road impacts are going to linger through a good portion of our Sunday. So I want to make sure people are aware of that out there. But we've kind of been bouncing around some of our tower cams. That was the Thurman Dam. Our SRP Park cam is looking more impressive too. It was mainly just the outfield and the infield that was snow covered. Now it's even kind of the dirt around the infield that's starting to get covered too. So it's even those warmer surfaces that are starting to see accumulating snow. And once that starts, it becomes just kind of a chain reaction. It's much easier for snow to accumulate once it has that thin layer to kind of build up on. Just with the nature of how these snowflakes work. And since it is kind of that drier, fluffier snow, we're able to see slightly higher snow totals. And the thing is that I just went outside of our studios. We already got about an inch of snow here around the state line, and many spots have seen more snow than us. So I would imagine we're kind of getting up to maybe 2 inches in some spots, especially the northern and eastern CSRA. I'm thinking places like maybe Edgefield. They've had some good bands pass through. But a live look outside of our building, we kind of had this zoomed in over Dave and Buster's, and you can see just kind of whiteout conditions for the most part. So if you can, just try to stay off the roadways. A lot of people out and about, though. You can see even the Costco parking lot kind of busy out there. So if you are out and about, just make sure you're increasing your distance between those cars in front of you. I'm worried about these elevated roadways like the Calhoun Expressway. A live look from our downtown Augusta cam. Even last weekend, I know we didn't see necessarily a ton of ice, but there was enough for them to close the Calhoun Expressway at one point last weekend. So it doesn't take much. And this is, I'm thinking of last year with our little bit of snow event. We saw a couple of accidents right there on the Calhoun Expressway from this tower cam. So those type locations that are elevated above the ground, that's where we're really worried about conditions starting to go downhill.
And I'm just starting to get a little bit worried because we have seen the snow stick to those elevated surfaces like the Thurman Dam just a little while ago, but now it kind of looks like it's might have melted a little bit, maybe from cars passing by, but with how the temperatures are right now, I mean, that's going to be freezing.
Definitely.
Very quickly. So black ice is going to be a big problem. So you might be out on the roadway thinking, oh, I don't see snow on the roadway. It's fine. Black ice is very common and very common in this setup that we're seeing right now. And that's what we've been talking about. Really, that's going to be our main hazard as we go throughout the next 24 hours or so.
Definitely. Luckily, not expecting a power outage risk with this system, so this is mainly just focusing on road conditions. Want to give you kind of a wide look at radar. There may be a break in the snow in the next couple of hours that may last an hour or two before we kind of get the last wave pushed through later into the evening time. You can see just north of the CSRA, there's this little hole starting to build in right here. I am expecting this to kind of continue wrapping further south and east, but there may just be a break where it kind of turns into more flurries, lighter snow, before it does pick back up again kind of later into this evening time. But this is kind of what we're anticipating. We're expecting there could be some dry slots that kind of knock down the snow at times. But on the opposite side of that, we got some pretty heavy snow bands that are popping up across the area. And go back to our Harlem radar, you can see that heavy band just passed through, basically parked right along I-20. So up and down McDuffie County, up Highway 78, where we were just looking at, they've already had a portion of that closed, both lanes. No surprise, because that's where the snow rates have been pretty decent out there. We actually have our meteorologist, Malik Bryant. He's been up in Washington and Wilkes County so far, and he's been sending us back reports to Emily and I just kind of want to read some stuff that he's been sending us to kind of give you an idea of what to expect. Because the thing is, up in Wilkes County, they saw this first, and now it's starting to work its way towards the metro. So Malik was saying the same band that rolled through here essentially made roads go from possible to absolutely treacherous in literally the span of about 30 seconds. So just a heads up for wherever this does end up downstream. So we're expecting those type impacts to be unfolding now here around the I-20 corridor.
And I think we are going to go take a quick break, but we will be right back with more snow coverage.
Welcome back to our snow coverage here on WRDW Plus. If you've been with us, we know our First Alert weather team has been tracking this system for the entire week and then all morning and all day today too. I want to mention something really quickly because we took a view of the dam up there. We saw a few different cars driving by, and there were some vehicles that had a lot of snow on them that were actually on the road. So a few pickup trucks that had snow on their beds and up on the roof too. It's really important that before you leave and get on the road, you want to make sure that that is wiped off and off of your vehicle, because if you start driving and then that starts coming off of your vehicle, and if there's people behind you, they're not going to be able to see. So it's really important that before you drive, you need to wipe that off. I know a lot of people around here probably don't have a broom for snow, right? And the ice scraper too. I don't think you really need that, but again, if you can find a broom, just lightly do that. Don't do it on your paint, you may scratch it, but your windshield, and then the bed of your vehicle too. It's really important that you do that.
No, that's good reminders,
Yeah.
especially for, a community and area where this isn't something you necessarily deal with every winter. So good tips if you can help other people out now. We've been checking in with a lot of our reporters across the CSRA, and it's nice to see where the snow stands where they are, because I feel like when we talked to Malik earlier in Wilkes County, he had a lot of snow.
Yeah.
We went to Ethan and Aiken at one point. I'm sure now, Aiken is seeing a lot more, but wasn't as much as Wilkes County. And I believe right now we're going to check in with Joseph Doring, who's actually across the river in Lexington. Hey, Joe, how are things?
Well, if you guys have seen Santa Claus 3, it feels like I'm starting to turn into Jack Frost, and it even looks like it right now. I'm currently actually in Irmo on the other side of the dam from Lexington that separates the two towns from Lake Murray over here across my left shoulder. It doesn't matter where I turn this camera right now because the wind just keeps to swirl around and move this snow in some different direction here. So I'm blinking quite a lot here, and this snow is really starting to come down here this afternoon. I've started to see a lot more people here at this kind of state park parking lot over here on the side of the dam start to show up, and they're all kind of in the same state of disbelief, just coming out here. Can't believe how hard it's actually snowing, how much of it's sticking to the ground. As we've talked about a lot this afternoon, we don't get to see a lot of this in the South, so this is something a lot of people want to come out and soak up just for the day that they have it here this afternoon. People are out here taking pictures, out here with their dogs, their families, just soaking up those few hours that they can before they might go into shock from how cold it is out here this afternoon and going into the evening. But I know this is something we have talked about here on WRDW Plus for the last hour and a half or so, but we do want to give credit to everybody that has been out making sure these roadways are safe, whether it's GA.SC. The city of Lexington, I've seen for the last several days, even going back to Tuesday or Wednesday, they've been out in full force just making sure that these roads have been smooth to drive on, carrying over from last weekend and now coming into this weekend. So as we said, there have been a lot of deteriorating road conditions. There will continue to be those later this evening. So if you are planning to be on the road this evening, try and make sure that it's only for an emergency situation and that you try and stay indoors as much as possible. But Zaina and Will, I can't believe, as I said a few minutes ago, last time we came out here live to me, how hard it's coming down right now. But this is truly a sight to see out here right now in Lexington and Irmo.
All right, thanks for that, Joe. And as you can see up there in Lexington, looking a lot like it is here in Augusta, too. I mean, this is something that's stretching all the way into the upstate, too. I know Riley just mentioned that we could get a break here in an hour or two until that band completely wraps around and then hits the metro here again. So this is not something that's going to end here shortly. I mean, we're going to be dealing with this throughout tonight, and then the temperature is going to drop too, which could bring some concerns moving into tomorrow morning.
And now we're starting to see a lot of the snow accumulations pick up on the roads. So that's just a reminder to people too. I know we sound like a broken record right now, but if you don't have to travel, please stay off the roads, because especially as we head into the night, it only is going to get worse, especially with temperatures. It's already cold. It's going to get colder. So just, enjoy your day. But if you can, enjoy it from your home. But it was nice to check in with Joe. It looks like he has a new set of eyebrows too, right? He's coated out there.
Yeah, he's got a lot of snow that's sticking to him, and just like the ground, that's what we're seeing too. And I know you mentioned people being out. A lot of our local businesses, some of those big stores, said that they may be closing early too because of how much snow we were expected to get. So if you are heading out, you may want to check to make sure those stores are open before you drive in this weather, get there, and then they're like, hey, we're closed. We closed early. So it's always good to check on that. But I know that we have our Sydney Hood, who is out in Augusta somewhere finding the snow, reporting on it. Sydney, what do you have?
So if you're like me and you're from Georgia, you know that we do not get this kind of weather that often. And you may be asking yourself, how can I prepare myself, prepare my family, my home, and my car? Well, I've got one easy way that you can prepare your car. You don't have to call anyone. You don't have to go anywhere. You just simply need to go outside, take the windshield wipers, and lift them up like this. You want to do it to both windshield wipers. It'll help keep the windshield safe so they don't freeze to your windshield and not get so weighed down by the snow. See, super easy, didn't take me no time. You can do it while you're outside playing in the snow, and trust me, you'll thank yourself later for it.
All right, thanks for that, Sydney. Very important tip that she just mentioned there too. And like I was saying not too long ago, you saw how much Snow was on top of that truck there, and if you just wipe it off the windshield, you have it on your hood. That's going to come up into your windshield when you start driving. It's going to make visibility very difficult. And then on top and then in the bed of the truck, that's where you're starting to see all that accumulation of snow just sit there. And then if you get on the highway and it's still in there, that's going to be flying out, and you're going to have people behind you who cannot see. So it's very important not just to get it off your windshield, but try to wipe it off your entire car before you hit the road today.
That's really good reminders, especially with visibility already at a low right now as the snow is coming down. You don't want to have that on top of what we're seeing. So just good reminders if you do have to travel. We know people are working this weekend and you have to get to work, but just take those precautions. And speaking of viewers, you've been sending in a lot of photos and videos. We love to see it. Please keep sending them in. I think we're going to share some right now that we just received. Okay, so this is video, and it looks like, again, we've been mentioning our crews out here. Love to see it really taking care of us as we deal with this snow.
And that looks like it's probably out in Wilkes County, if I had to guess. I know we have Malik Bryan out there. Isn't that crazy to see a GDOT truck out there with a plow in one of our rural towns plowing the street of snow? And that's a lot of snow too.
Absolutely, but we love to see it. So it's not just our larger cities, right, if you will. These crews, I mean, they're traveling far out. They're spending their snow day keeping us safe. They're the ones out on the road. For those that do have to travel anywhere, you know, they're thinking of us. So we really do appreciate it because they're traveling quite the distance.
Yeah, and they've worked long hours ever since the ice storm last weekend too, across both of the states. Here's some more viewer photos. You can see some of that snow really starting to accumulate. I can only assume this was from about an hour or so ago when we started seeing it stick, and then it started growing a little bit more. But now, really across our entire viewing area, we're seeing a lot of snow where you can't really see the grass at all. So this was from way earlier too.
Oh, wow.
We started just to see that snow start to fall.
And you know, at this point, people were excited because we know a lot of us woke up, we looked outside. Well, okay, so yes, we would love to see a snowball fight. Our producer is telling us there's video of a snowball fight.
Let's roll it.
Let's go.
All right, there you go. This is actually live in Columbia County. So you're getting a live look here at a couple teenagers, kids having some fun out there. Maybe. All right, this looks like, never mind. We're just kidding. Well, there's snowball fights. Yeah, Evanstown Center Park out there. You can see people out enjoying it, taking a walk in the snow. So it is refreshing if you've never done it.
Absolutely.
I've actually gone for a run in the snow one time. When we had snow last year, I got home from work, took the dogs, got them on a leash, and went for a run. I know there's that meme where those two people got interviewed by that reporter. They were like, I love running on the snow. It's so soft. It's good for your body. And she walks and then she trips on the ice. And it's like, oh. So if you are going to do that, be careful. I think someone else told me that they slipped earlier today too. So if you're going down some of those steps that may be covered, take it easy out there.
Yeah, don't assume. And even if there's not snow, just don't assume. Because earlier, you know, your meteorologist Emily Acton was mentioning black ice. Sometimes that's really hard to see or even know if there is black ice. So just be careful and think about the shoes you're wearing too. I'd like to say that too, because if you don't have any kind of support, that can be a bad thing.
Absolutely. Are we going to take a break here, or what do we have next? Okay, having some issues with the next person. Okay, so I guess keep it rolling. We could talk about more snow because that's what's going on today.
That's what's going on, and I was actually paying attention to our stream right now because I know some people had some questions. Yeah. And I loved that they were asking this, and I think your Chief Riley Hill actually covered a lot of it because people were asking, is this going to stick?
Yes, the answer to that question is yes.
It does look like it is going to stick. And then, you know, I love one woman. She was just honest on here. She was like, I don't drive in snow. And we were mentioning, you know, if you don't have to travel, don't drive. But sometimes even if you think you are a good driver or, you know, being where you're from, if you're from the north, not everyone does feel comfortable driving. So sometimes it may not be you, but it may be other people on the roads too.
And we saw that video too on one of our cameras that we took with the weather team too, that there were people who were out there driving and they showed up to a light and they were going really slow, and that's good. That's what you want to do. You want to pump those brakes. Don't slam on your brakes. So take it easy out there if you are driving, especially on some of those back roads that may not be I-20, Bobby Jones Expressway, but I know that on the Calhoun Expressway, where we're seeing some of that accumulation where it is colder underneath the bridge, so it allows that to happen and get some ice too. So I know that we have your Audrey Dickherber who's standing by as well. Audrey, what are you seeing out there?
Seeing a lot of snow, and a lot of people are actually out here playing and having a good time. We've seen some kids build a snowman, and that snowman fall over several times and be built back up again. We've seen snowball fights, and actually, let me just show you guys exactly how much snow is out here at Evans Town Center Park. It looks like it's a complete blanket over top of all of the grass, and we've been speaking to quite a few people actually out here, and I can kind of go out towards the snow too to show you guys, but we've been speaking to some people out here who said that they're very excited about this because this isn't normal for them. I was telling them that this kind of felt like a taste of home for me. I felt like I woke back up in St. Louis this morning, back in my hometown, but they've been making all kinds of snowballs with this. I was wanting to do one myself. I won't throw it at Brenton, who's on the other side of the camera. I'll be nice, but you can see this is like the perfect kind of snow. I did not grab enough snow for this, but I was actually able to make a little snowball just like that in a few seconds. This is like what you describe as ideal snow to be playing in and have fun in. Of course, you want to be safe on the roads. We didn't necessarily, come into much difficulty coming out this direction, but again, you're speaking from people who have experienced being in the snow before, so just make sure you're being cautious if you're going to be going out in different areas to play, but or just be out in the snow because it's beautiful. But yeah, there's been a lot of people that have been out in this direction. They've kind of all cleared out when you guys came over and jumped to us, because I think everybody's super excited, wanting to get out in the snow, and then they get out here for a little bit and they realize how cold they are and they want to get back inside. So we can actually go over this way. We can see some people playing in this direction over off to my right here. They just came not too long ago. They've been playing with some snowballs and making them and enjoying their time in the snow as well. And then we've also seen some people kind of playing in the park and just really enjoying their time out here, but everybody's just really excited to have a good little snow day here, and I'm happy to be a part of it. Like I said, I feel like I'm getting a taste of nostalgia being back out here and feeling like I'm back home, but it's my second home here in Augusta. It's fun.
I know we have a lot of people who are from the South who haven't seen a lot of this, but here at News 12, we do have a lot of workers here who are from the Midwest and from the North who have experienced a lot of this. And we've been down here for a little bit and we haven't seen it in so long, so it's really cool to have that experience and be able to do that. Audrey, you're clearly a pro at making snowballs there. It's packable snow too, which I'm kind of surprised about.
It is. I just kind of set it down. You can kind of see, just like, and that was just from me grabbing a little bit of it and putting, this is, don't give me too much credit. It's just that we have really good snow here that you can actually, enjoy, and it's not melting right away. It's fun to play in and it's not too icy. So, this is definitely a good experience for people that haven't experienced snow before to come out and play in this, because it's a lot of fun.
And it's not like the icy snow where you throw it at someone or like accidentally hit them in the face and it's going to like hurt. It's going to give you like a black eye or something. Like that's a good kind of snow.
Yeah.
That soft, fluffy snow.
I won't test that.
Yeah, leave Brenton alone, who's behind the camera out there. We need him intact when he comes back. So, Audrey, we appreciate your coverage out there. We know that everyone's having some fun, enjoying it. We saw some snowball fights out there, too. So, it's a good time, and we'll hear back from you in just a little bit, too.
So, earlier on our News 12 Facebook page, I actually saw someone share a video. It looked like a parent pulling their little child on a sled. It looks like they were just excited this morning, and they're like, we're going to do it. The snow's not here yet, but hey, we're still going to make a day out of it. Well, guess what? You can actually do it on snow now, and I think Evans Town Center Park would be great just in that nice area, for the little kids that you just want to like pull around.
It looks completely different out there. When we just took her live, I'm like, it looks nothing like Evans Town Center Park, and that's really what we're seeing all across the area. So I don't know if we're going to get another update here from the weather team. Are you guys ready? All right. Yeah, we're going to toss things over to Riley and Emily here for another update.
Yeah, guys, we just kind of been monitoring radar and also some of these cameras around the area. And the thing is, we're still looking at some pretty treacherous travel conditions in some spots. Here's a look at radar. You can still see a good bit of snow out there, but I wanted to show you this view. This is from a Georgia DOT camera in McDuffie County. So, yes, below that is actually a roadway. This is right at State Route. Let's see, this is State Route 223 at Harrison Road. We've seen a few cars kind of pass us by on the camera here. The thing is, you see tire tracks and then they kind of instantly get covered up. We've had some really good snow here in McDuffie County. So this is that heavier band that has been passing through over the last, say, 30, 45 minutes and still creating blowing snow conditions out there. So you can see these fluffy snowflakes just kind of blowing around the wind. You can see the traffic signals kind of moving around a little bit. So we're wind chills right now down in the 20s and teens. We have snow falling, and now we're starting to notice the road impacts after this has been continuous now for several hours across the area.
Yeah, definitely stay off the roadways. We've been saying it so much, but people are still out there. But like you were pointing out, Riley, you see their tire tracks like make their way through the snow, and short time after it kind of covers back up. So again, make sure that you are taking it safe out there. We're still seeing heavy bands of snow. It's not done yet, but we might get a little bit of a break for some of our counties, at least for a little while. But yeah, I mean, every camera I feel like that we're looking at, it's looking pretty intense north of I-20, I would say. South of I-20 and here, I mean, in the Augusta area, we're still seeing it, but just not quite as intense as they are.
That's an impressive view.
McCormick, things like that.
Right. That's an impressive view right there. We'll kind of show you why it looks like that. We'll go to our radar network. This is actually using our Harlem radar site, which isn't necessarily too far away from where that camera is in McDuffie County. And you can just see those darker blues stretching across northern Warren County through McDuffie County, Columbia County, Richmond County. Those darker colors on the radar highlighting where that heavier snow is falling. But we look a little bit towards our north. We'll widen out this view for you on radar. You can see there is a little bit of a gap trying to form between this second wave that we'll push through. So I was just checking also our Thurman Dam cam, and it was showing that the snow was not as heavy as what it was just about 45 minutes to an hour ago. So there's a little hole right there starting to build in the northern CSRA, and that will continue to drop south towards us here at Augusta. So there may be a little bit of a break in the better snow we've seen the last few hours, but I don't think that will mean the end of it. I think there will be kind of more snow that wraps in behind this as we get later into the evening time. So we'll kind of show you what our in-house model here is showing for that snow potential for the rest of today. So we are anticipating maybe a break here as we kind of get later. So that's kind of what this model is showing. You can see a little bit of a break in the snow in some spots, but then we do see a little bit more push through later into the evening time, and don't think we'll be completely done with the snow until we get likely closer to midnight. By tomorrow morning, we are expecting those temperatures to drop down into the low and mid-teens. You factor in sustained wind 10 to 15, we'll have single-digit wind chills through most of the overnight hours. So before you head to bed tonight, we've been talking about the roads, but also need to worry about your pipes at your home too. Need to make sure you're protecting those as we head into the overnight hours, because we are going to see some bone-chilling, pipe-bursting cold out there. And we do have extreme cold warnings in effect for the CSRA, not just these winter storm warnings that are in effect. Go back out to radar right now. So just highlighting this heavier snow band showing up right here around I-20. That's going to continue dropping south into the southern CSRA. And we also have some pretty decent snow across places like Aiken, Barnwell County, towards the Midlands. You can see over Columbia, they got some pretty good snow that is picking up for them as well. So as far as snow totals go so far, I think many spots are kind of getting close to that 2-inch range. And that was kind of on our forecast. We were expecting between 2 to 4 for most of the CSRA, so it looks like that part of the forecast is starting to verify, and we're still expecting more snow. So I think we'll end up most likely between that 2 to 4 inch range across a good portion of the area. And I was just outside of our station. We've already received a little bit over an inch on many spots, so pretty impressive snow event, Emily.
Yeah, definitely so. And it's not done yet.
Done yet, yeah.
People are having a lot of fun outdoors, and maybe they get to go inside, warm up a little bit with this break that we're kind of seeing before maybe going back out and enjoying it some more. So temperature is very cold out there right now, but big story is going to be overnight tonight, well below freezing. Not only below freezing, but feeling like the single digits. So we're under that extreme cold warning until 10 a.m. tomorrow. So please make sure that if you have any outdoor pets, make sure that they have an adequate way of staying warm overnight tonight, because it is going to be a prolonged period of time that we're going to feel below freezing. I mean, we've been below freezing throughout the day today, but it'll just continue to get colder and colder overnight.
Definitely so. And kind of with that radar view, you can see in the northern CSRA, the snow is starting to taper off a little bit. This is going back to that view there in Thompson County. But we'll go back out to our Thurman Dam cam, and you can still see a few flurries out there. And how about the wind shaking around our camera a little bit? So that's going to be another component of the forecast. We'll continue to see pretty gusty conditions as we get through the afternoon and even into tonight, which is what's going to lead to just those really cold wind chills out there. But now that we've seen the snow not be quite as heavy you can see the roads look like they have improved there on the dam, but as we've been mentioning, that makes it turn into that slush. We'll have that really cold air move in overnight, which is going to lead to some black ice concerns. So that's the thing. Black ice, invisible to the naked eye. You can't see it. So that makes it extra dangerous out there. But noticing along the lake there, definitely some breezy conditions, some whitecap action going on out there. We'll kind of turn this camera around. I'll give you kind of a 360 view. Oh, how about that view? Did you see that?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Looks like you can actually see kind of where that break in the snow is actually starting to occur kind of north of the dam right there. But turning this over towards McCormick County, and this is at Below Dam Park. So you can see they're completely snow covered right now. It doesn't look like there's too many people fishing on the pier at the moment. Had a couple of people out there earlier today, but pretty much snow covered ground across a good portion of the CSRA now that we've seen some of these heavier snow bands pass through the region. We'll bounce around to some of our other cameras. This is SRP Park. You can see the kind of the inside the diamond there, and also in the outfield completely snow covered. Even portions of the infield starting to get covered up. This is our Beach Island camera. We have it tilted just down to the ground, and you can see our runway strips along our tower site completely snow covered as well. And then going next out to Wheeler Road. This was actually one of our first cameras early this morning that we started to notice some flurries happen before the snow really started to ramp up across the area. But looks like traffic moving okay there on I-20. And as we've kind of been saying, our major roadways, interstates, highways, those areas should be okay at the moment since they're well traveled. They've been well brined. But spots like the Calhoun Expressway that's elevated off the ground, we're going to have to worry about those places. Overpasses and bridges definitely will be able to have the best potential for seeing freezing conditions first. Just outside of our studios, there's a look at Dave & Buster's. Costco looks like some, not necessarily a big crowded Dave & Buster's, but at least a few people out there. And Costco always has a full parking lot, and no surprise right there. But we're going to continue on, guys, or we wrapping up this snow coverage? All right, so good deal. All right, well, thank you all for watching here on this snow coverage. A fun snow day across the area as long as we keep people off the roads. We are going to be live again coming up in just an hour or two. We're going to be live on News 12 at 6 o'clock. You can watch that on our app, on our website. And I'm not sure, are we showing up on CBS or NBC at 6 o'clock?
I don't think so.
NBC. Okay, so we'll also be live on NBC as well at 6. So keep it here for those updates and stay safe out there and enjoy the snow.